think about all the different ways the world has changed, and then you go into most school systems, the educational system has not changed very much.
We need to be building schools of the future, and we, the organization and the community, have to have a real understanding about what that looks like.
Portrait of a Graduate is helping districts and communities identify the North Star and what is it they want out of their graduates.
The portrait itself becomes this unifying kind of focus, answers the why.
When you have the biggest district in the state, that can bring some different type of not norms that most other districts will see.
If our community is not focused on the students, then they're not focused on the future.
You know, how do we equip them that whatever challenges they face, they're well equipped to respond to those very effectively.
Columbus City Schools canceling all classes.
It's an effort to slow the spread of COVID-19.
We don't take this lightly. This is an unprecedented situation.
We are thinking about what it feels like to that kid, and that's why these decisions are absolutely so hard.
If we don't rally around our students and our families, we're doing a disservice to the future of Columbus.
With a high-stakes accountability system, it's driven a lot of the interest and excitement and engagement of learning, just driven that out. And it's really important today that we have to change our educational systems.
Plethora of doors that are being opened because of this digital age that we're in.
We need to create different opportunities for people to be engaged.
And I hope students can help us with that and help facilitate what learning could look like.
Experiential learning, connecting what we're learning in the textbook to real life.
In some cases, young people are taking on real problems in their own community and solving them.
Be able to establish and maintain positive relationships.
Adaptability, perseverance, empathy, civic discourse. We need to remember what it means to be human.
Once you fall in love with the community and the kids and the adults who have committed their lives to public urban education, there's nowhere else I'd rather be.
We want to be a national model in urban education, and I think we're going to get there. I know we're going to get there. And we can't do it alone. It's going to take each one of us coming together.
Innovation in education coming soon. Innovation is happening right now. Welcome to the 2020 All-Staff Virtual Convocation. This is going to be a year of firsts. Good morning. I'm Alicia Gillison, your Chief Engagement Officer. So many of you may be wondering, what is this convocation about? This convocation is an opportunity for all of us to come together, for each and every one of you to know how important you are to our organization. But before we get started with this convocation, let's take a moment and pay homage to those students who were with us last year, but they aren't with us this year. Your colleagues that were with you last year, but they're no longer with us. And our loved ones and family members that cheered us on because they knew how important this time of year was for everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, let's pay homage to our fallen angels with a moment of silence. All right, the start of this year is going to be historic. We have professional development for all 9,000 employees, 10 full days, and what a feat that was. So, as we get geared up for this convocation, are you ready? Are you ready? All right, it's going to be very interactive today, and all I can tell you right now is you need to have your cell phone near. But before we get started with all the fun, let's begin our day with a pledge of allegiance. So ladies and gentlemen, Rise up, stand up.
Hello, my name is John Peck, and I go to Columbus Afrocentric Early College, and I am in 5th grade.
Hello, my name is Autumn Peck, and I'm a 2nd grader. I go to Columbus Afrocentric Early College.
You're not going to hear anything once we go.
Right. I pledge of allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For all. For all.
Good morning. My name is Alexandra Oliver, and I am proud and excited to be a 6th grader at Woodward Park at Walden. Please let me introduce to you our Columbus City Schools Board President, Miss Jennifer Adair.
Go.
Good morning, CCS grown-ups. I'm ready, just like Ms. Gillison said, I'm ready to get started with this transformational new school year. On behalf of the Board of Education, welcome to your 2020 Convocation. This not only starts this exciting school year, but it also marks the 175th anniversary of the beginning of our district. That's right, 175 years. Think about all of the transformation we have made since the beginning. Think about all of the fighting us CCS grown-ups have done for equity and justice for our students. Think about how each of us have defined generations, and will continue to do so. Generations are defined by moments in time, history in the making, and we're certainly in one right now. And the way that you interact with your students, the way you interact with our kids, the way we interact as a community is going to show them how we are going to get through this time of crisis. Show them that transformation is possible, and show them how we will rise up as a Columbus community. There's a Zulu saying, Sawubona. It means we see you, we hear you, we recognize you. And that's how the Board of Education feels about every single one of you, our wonderful CCS grown-ups, who every day come to our district to meet our mission of serving our students. We know that you will take this opportunity, this challenge, to help transform us into that model of urban education that we are seeking. You will do this together. You will do this in ways you didn't even expect, because that's who we are. That's who we are as a CCS grown-ups. We will be adaptable. We will think critically. We're going to communicate better. I know sometimes it's challenging. We're going to show each other empathy and grace. We're going to be creative, and we're going to embrace technology. If all of those things sounded familiar to you, it's because that's exactly what we've been working on through Portrait of a Graduate. The qualities that we want our students to have, the qualities that each of us as CCS grown-ups must embrace. We're going to rise up. We're going to rise up for our students. We're going to rise up in the name of equity. We're going to rise up in the name of justice. And we are excited. We are excited about what this school year will bring. 175 years, Columbus. It's going to be amazing. So let's rise up and get this school year started right. Welcome to your 2020 Convocation.
Good morning, and thank you for inviting me to speak today. My name is Amanda McClafferty, and I'm the Family Ambassador at A. Cole Kenwood. But more importantly, I'm mom to Molly, a 4th grader at A. Cole Kenwood French Immersion. In March of this year, like all of you, I was faced with the unknown for my daughter. When our school was forced to close its doors because of the COVID-19 crisis, I, like so many other parents, worried about my child's safety and future. What would the rest of the school year look like? Are we going to be okay? How are we going to continue to keep our kids safe and content during this time? I shouldn't have worried. Within days of the closure, I witnessed what CCS is truly all about: compassion, adaptability, and kindness. CCS teachers quickly learned to use new educational platforms to aid students in virtual learning. Nancy Starts at École Kenwood was 3 months away from retirement and adapted her entire curriculum to fit the new virtual learning style and meet the needs of her students. She told her class one day, "Guess what, kids? Turns out you can teach an old dog new tricks." Parents laughed along at home with tears of joy in their eyes because we knew the kids were going to be okay. Thank you, Nancy, for being so real and so adaptable. She wasn't the only one who jumped on board to make sure our kids were getting the education they deserved. Teachers from across the district delivered letters, packets, care packages, and notes of encouragement to students' homes. Teachers, those acts of kindness did not go unnoticed. Thank you for going above and beyond for these students. Years from now, they probably will not remember the details of quarantine life or the day-to-day monotony that engulfed us all. But they will remember seeing a familiar face on a WebEx call or a special note in the mail from their teacher. You didn't just educate during this time. You gave our children hope that life can return to normal. Outside the classroom, our food service workers leapt into action to make sure all of our babies were fed at home. I know you take such pride in feeding the kids every day, and losing that control was really hard. Parents saw that. Thank you for loading the kids up with bags of fruit and veggies and on-the-go meals with a smile. You fed not only the tummies, you fed the soul. Thank you. Over and over during the start of the pandemic, families told me how impressed they were with the instructional aides that called to check on kids. Parents talked about the bus drivers on the last day of school that talked to the kids calmly as they got off the bus and told them that they would see one another soon to calm their fears. ESL staff, our special needs teachers, and intervention specialists all took on new roles as parent advocates and made sure families had the support and information they needed. Thank you for all the calls, texts, emails, and FaceTimes. You made a confusing and difficult time manageable for so many families. I also wanted to take a moment to thank my fellow family ambassadors. For those of you who do not know, CCS has a group of dedicated parents who work with our families in the schools to communicate district policy, educational opportunities, and resource information. The goal is to enhance education by building parent engagement. Let me tell you, when the okay was given for these folks to go to work, they went to work. Through weekly update meetings, these parents used community resources, district information, and networking to provide families with up-to-date information as often as possible. They were often the first line of communication for families with questions and concerns. I personally want to thank Dr. Dixon, Mrs. Gillison, the principals of the schools, and everyone who fought for the Family Ambassador program to stay running during this time. You knew that family connections, communication, and engagement are even more important during times of uncertainty. Now it's August, and we've weathered the storm of pandemic through the summer months. It's time for parents and children, and teachers and staff to turn their thoughts to a new school year and what it will bring. While we don't know exactly how all the pieces will fit together for this year or how long we'll be distance learning, I can say with complete certainty that our teachers and staff will be ready. I know that on September 8th, my daughter will be greeted by a friendly and caring face of her teacher. I know that the staff at my daughter's school and every building in the district are prepared to engage all students in impactful learning. I know that charts, Flipgrids, WebEx meetings, games, songs, experiments, and so much more are going to engage our students in learning in a whole new way. Is this ideal? Of course not, but the ability to adapt and grow as an educator is a powerful lesson for our kids. And as a parent, I thank you for your enthusiasm in embracing a new look for this school year. Just like every other parent in the district, I'm ready to see my child thrive this year. I know that together, parents, teachers, and staff, we will all work together to make this a great school year. I am so very ready to go back. Have a great day and a great school year, everyone.
Bonjour, my name is Molly McClafferty and I'm a 4th grader at École Canada French Immersion. I am excited to go back to school to see my friends and teacher. I like our Zoom meetings because we can talk and ask questions. This year, I hope we can do more science and eventually get to see my friends in person. I'm ready to buy school supplies and use a dry erase board at my house. Hi, Madam Williams. I'll see you soon.
Hello, my name is Bianca Moore. I'm currently a senior at Eastmore Academy, as well as a member of the Senior to Sophomore program, where I'll be attending Capital University this year. Although our classes are starting out virtual, I wanted to say that I'm very excited for my senior year full of opportunities. I also wanted to let you all know that we, the students of Columbus City Schools, are looking to each of you for your leadership and guidance in helping us discover new horizons this school year. It is my honor, for the 2nd year in a row, to introduce our amazing superintendent, Dr. Talisa Dixon.
Good morning, Columbus City School community, and welcome back. I hope you are as excited as I am to start the 2021 school year. Yes, even in this year, unlike any other, I am using the word excited. That's because I'm optimistic about the year ahead. That in part, large part, is because of all of you who have dedicated your professional careers to improving the lives of children. Some days, I know, it can be difficult to be excited, not only as educators and school staff, but as parents and grandparents, sons and daughters, sisters and brothers. We are facing the impact of a global pandemic. I've heard from so many of you who've graciously shared with me your personal experiences and family stories of how you felt the impact of the pandemic directly or indirectly. It's meant a lot that you took the time to reach out to me. Coping with the health and economic impacts of COVID-19 has brought out the best in all of you. When your life, both professionally and personally, became more difficult, you became stronger and more resilient. For all of us, as members of the CCS community, it started on March 12th when Governor DeWine announced that all school buildings would be closed effective March 17th for a period of several weeks. Then, on March 30th, Governor DeWine extended the school building closure order to May 1st. And then, well, we all know the rest of the story. But here's the point. As proud members of the CCS community, you show character and grit to be able to adjust and rise to the occasion. How all of us responded and pivoted since the spring is one more reason why I'm excited and full of hope for the new school year. Even though the world may appear scary, ugly, and at times without hope, now is the time for CCS to rise to the occasion and lead with love, compassion, and education. Now more than ever is the time for a commitment to working together as one community to be a part of the solution for a better tomorrow for every member of the CCS community. And I know because of all of you that can happen. So this morning, I'm asking each and every member of the CCS community to join me to rise up like never before to tackle an educational challenge we've never seen before. There's too much at stake to move forward any other way. Over the past months of intensive, almost round-the-clock planning and preparation, I have asked everyone, administrators, teachers, families, union partners, community, faith, and business allies to rise up to the challenge of serving our students and families with a focus on strengthening academic performance when school begins in the fall. They have answered the call. That's why we stand ready to meet the challenges of operating Ohio's largest school district during the ongoing pandemic. Collectively, we must be determined not to let the pandemic crisis hold us down. Most importantly, our students. On Tuesday, September 8th, Columbus City Schools will begin the 2020-21 school year fully remote. We will operate in a completely virtual learning environment for grades pre-K through 12 for at least the first quarter of the school year. But for certain, this is not the same as the online classes that began in crisis mode this past spring. Following this morning's convocation, all of you will roll up your sleeves to participate in the CCS Summer Institute, 2 weeks of intensive online professional development with a focus on our new curriculum, technology integration, diversity, and social emotional learning. As you know, we delayed the start of the school year by 2 weeks in order to provide these learning opportunities for all staff to better support our students as we start the year in a completely virtual environment. The virtual learning sessions will focus on 4 pillars: curriculum and instruction, technology integration, equity and social emotional learning, and workplace shifts, health and safety. Over the next 2 weeks, there will be sessions for all employees based on your roles, such as bus drivers, food service workers, secretaries, central office staff, administrators, and teachers. As an organization that is focused on teaching and learning, we will be modeling lifelong learning by building the capacity of our staff members to better serve our students and their families. This may be a new way to start the year, but our expectations have not changed. We expect excellence, plain and simple. Our students deserve nothing less than our best. We will launch our virtual learning platform, Ready to Succeed, in a significant way, supported by all the educational tools and resources our students and staff need. That includes better technological capabilities, thanks to a $7 million investment from Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther and City Council. We will provide every student with a Chromebook, along with a hotspot if families need help with internet access. The same resources will be provided for all teachers who need them. The district will continue to engage with families and staff and seek feedback throughout the first quarter of the year to make any necessary adjustment to improve remote teaching and learning. While we're starting a year with all virtual classes, we cannot wait to welcome our students and staff back to our school buildings whenever public health conditions allow it. Our operations team have been busy preparing our buildings and buses, so we are ready when that day comes. These preparations include setting up socially distanced classrooms, installing protective barriers, placing signage and directions, and securing PPE for each facility, not to mention our daily cleaning and sanitizing. The data on COVID-19 infections within our district boundaries and zip codes continue to show that our CCS families are more impacted by this virus when compared to our suburban neighbors. And that's reflected in the different decisions and policies for our school year. We are grateful for the expertise of Columbus Public Health Commissioner, Dr. Mashika Roberts, and her team. We will continue to rely on their steady guidance to evaluate and inform our decisions on how and when to safely return to in-person learning. We have a mission to educate and nurture our community's children. We need everyone to bring as much energy and enthusiasm as possible to make this a great start to the year. And we need all 9,000 plus employees to be healthy, safe, and engaged in their work regardless of where they are. I want to remind all of you to do your part to lower the spread of COVID-19. Wash your hands, keep your distance, and above all else, wear a mask. Everyone in our community must take these precautions if we want to overcome this virus and regain our sense of normalcy. We have the opportunity to embrace the new normal in Columbus City Schools, readying ourselves for a world in which virtual learning, virtual working, and virtual living will become part of our guiding principles. While families, students, teachers, and the community long for the opportunity to learn together in the classrooms, we will rise together to meet this moment in time. It requires our best people with the best resources developing innovative solutions. There are still many challenges on the horizon, some we know about, some yet to reveal themselves. However, I know that our entire CCS community will rise up as one strong force to provide for the educational needs of all of our students. This is why my optimism has no limits. Finally, as I've given great thought to our work, I'd like to share with you how I've tried to think about my personal commitment in terms of how to rise up to achieve change for our students. I've been thinking of my commitment to be in step with the lifelong commitment to change by American hero and civil rights icon, Congressman John Lewis. As you know, Mr. Lewis was one of the original freedom riders who challenged segregation in the Deep South. John Lewis fought for equality and changed his entire life. Even in the last message, just days before he died this summer, he implored all of us to continue the fight for a nation at peace with itself. He wrote, quote, "The truth does not change, and that is why the answers worked out long ago can help you find solutions to the challenges we face today." In his eulogy for Congressman John Lewis, former President Barack Obama called the civil rights icon, quote, "an American whose faith was tested again and again to produce a man of pure joy and unbreakable perseverance." President Obama said that he owed a great debt to John Lewis and asked all to join him to carry on his legacy. Our faith as professionals, each and every one of us who impacts the lives of students every day, is being tested. Many of us in our personal lives are being tested as a result of the pandemic. Because of all of you and the unbreakable perseverance you have shown this year, I have hope that we can rise up together to indeed achieve John Lewis's dream of building a beloved community, a society of peace, equality, and love. Thank you.
Good morning, CEA members, and welcome to the 2021 school year. This year, we know that we're going to face many challenges, and as usual, you will rise up to meet those challenges to ensure the success of our students. We at the CEA office will be here to support you during this pandemic. Have a great year.
Hi, welcome back to a new school year. I am so excited that we're coming back either virtual or in person in some cases. Someone asked me how, as classified employees, do we rise up during a pandemic? Well, OPSI members are used to rising up, pandemic or not. For example, our bus drivers, our mechanics, those are the folks that you see first thing in the morning. When the kids get to school, if they're walkers, they see their food service worker. The custodians open and close all of our buildings, so they're the first ones there, the last ones to leave. Secretaries, account clerks, call center reps, customer service reps, you guys all do your part to process the necessary information to keep our buildings running. Our groundskeeper, our trade guys, all of you make sure the buildings are up and running, that they look beautiful on the inside and on the outside. We do a variety of work in the district. Instructional aides, intervention aid, CC aides, bus aides. Without all of you, our teacher partners wouldn't have the additional hands that they need. So working together as a team, we're all in this together. We're going to rise up together. We're going to get through this, and we're going to stay strong as classified employees, and we're going to give our kids all they need to make this successful. Whether they're virtual, digital, blended, however it happens, it happens. But I can bet you OPSI members will be on the job. Have a great school year.
Hello, Columbus Schools classified supervisors and colleagues, and welcome to the 2021 school year. I'm Debbie DeShano, President for CSCSA. This school year is one destined for the history books. So I thought I'd take a moment and challenge you and ask you, what will your legacy be? How will you rise up every day to meet the challenges and the opportunities bound to come our way? Not only in the work that we do for the CCS community, but for ourselves and our families. How will you be accountable? How will you be resilient? These are only questions that you can answer. And it's only you who can set your legacy. So please, rise up. And when you fall, rise again. We got this.
Good morning, Columbus City Schools family. On behalf of each administrator, I want to welcome you back. Together as one Columbus City School team, we will rise up and deliver a quality educational experience for our students in spite of COVID. With our ever-present dedication to students, grace as we lead and teach, and the support of each other, we will have a successful school year. Go be great and have a wonderful 2020-2021 school year.
Thank you, Dr. Dixon, John Caniglio, Lois Carson, Deb DeShano, and Kim Mills. You all are reminders that we are all in this together. John said, rise up together. Lois Carson says, however it happens, it's going to happen and we're going to do it together. Deb DeShano says, CCS, we got this. And Kim Mills says, we got your back. Thank you, because we are all in this together. Now, speaking of rise up, our phones rose up off the hook when you all called. So let me share who the winners were. All right, the winner, the first person to get into our phone line was John Taylor of Columbus International High School. Yay, John, we're rising up together. And then we also had Judy Comer, and she's from our transportation department over at Moeller, and we're going to rush those shirts to you. Ladies and gentlemen, we aren't finished yet. So let me make a tweak. So the first person that calls the Department of Engagement right now at 614-365-8868. The first person will get a t-shirt, so we will be rising up together. And as we speak about rising up, let's talk about our partners. Oh my goodness, when COVID happened, our partners stepped up to make it happen. Because you see, we had 2,400 plus seniors distraught because they could not have a graduation. But the community came together, our partners from the city, our Partnership in Action team, all came together to ensure our seniors had a graduation like no other. You probably heard about the famous graduation celebration box. Every senior got one. And inside the box is a t-shirt, a coffee mug, a mask, and a voter registration form. We are not playing here at CCS. Ladies and gentlemen, we're doing it and we're doing it together. I don't know if you had an opportunity to see the billboards that were up around the city. Yes, our community came together and we're still together. Thank you, partners, and thank you for everyone who stepped up to make this happen for our seniors. Now, hear from another of our partners. We're about to hear from another one of our partners and for one of our alumni. So he's not only a partner, but an alumni. Yes, he has Panther Pride, who stands as proof that when we rise up, we help our students live up to great expectations.
A pandemic, push for racial equality, historic unemployment levels, isolation and depression, increased violence, and a presidential election. Oh, by the way, your school year will be a virtual one. Well, at least the start of it. Great pep talk, eh? Don't worry, you've got this. Hi, everybody, I'm Kerry Charles from NBC4, and I'm a proud Columbus City Schools graduate. Some of you join me, Colleen Marshall, and the rest of the NBC4 team every weekday evening for news. Others are going, Kerry, who? Then there are those sitting wide-eyed and in shock. If that's you wondering, yep, it's the Clinton, Hamilton, and Como Elementary Kerry Charles, the Crestview Middle Kerry, and the Lyndon McKinley Panther Kerry. By the way, I'm a UC grad, now Emmy award-winning anchor, Carrie. Now, let's go back and get something clear here. I wasn't a bad kid. In fact, I was a good student. Just talked a lot, drove some of you crazy. Some of your students do the same. Remember Miss Eileen Bartlett? Ask her. She'll tell you all about our back and forths. But look at me now, talking. It all paid off. I only tell you that to remind you this. Your work, your patience matters. The lessons, life and academic, the spirit you show up with every day are all important. They stick with students and carry them through the years. At Crestview, Mrs. Calloway introduced me to the power of poetry and how words change the world and inspire. She'd have us memorize, stand in front of the class, then recite certain works. Be the best at whatever you are. Taught me to strive for success, even when the world, some teachers included, suggested a kid from Linden couldn't do, wouldn't be. She also gave us the heart's garden. It continues to remind me to pull up those weed thoughts and throw them away. The next year in 7th grade, Mrs. Muller encouraged us to slow down. Each day we take a few minutes at the start of English and literature to take a moment to think good thoughts. I now know she was just getting us to settle down, but taking a moment to think good thoughts, which I still do today, served as an early lesson in self-care. Little did I know how much I need those and other lessons today. Listen, this school year is going to be a bit different. There will be a number of challenges. It may be tough, but it will be worth it. Just think, one day your students will be creating vaccines, leading classrooms in schoolhouses, the country, or anchoring the evening news. Have some patience with them. They are just as tired of wearing masks and seemingly being on punishment like the rest of us. But what you teach them now, it will guide them through the years. What will they say about you in the decades to come? So hang in there with your virtual classes. Hey, at least you don't have to decorate yet. And remember, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Have a great year, everybody. Oh yeah, and whenever news breaks, count on NBC4. I'll see you each weeknight at 6, 7, and 11.
All right, each of us have the power to make a difference in a child's life. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited about this convocation. The best is yet to come. So who were our winners? All right, Keisha Trammell from Duxbury Park. Yay, Keisha, rise up. All right, and Saron Williamson from Fort Hays, rise up. We are in this together. As we go through this year, everybody's job is going to look a little bit different. Some of us are going to be asked to do things that we weren't asked to do last year, but that's part of rising up because our 50,000 deserve the very best. Now we have one more giveaway coming up. Wait, don't dial that number yet, all right? Because I want you to know we have got to get this right. All the eyes of Columbus are on us, but we have support around the country behind us. So this morning, we have a very special message coming straight from Washington, D.C. Dr. Don Yale Dickey. He is a nationally recognized authority on curriculum, instruction, and school leadership, but he's got a message for all of us. So he reminds us that all staff in our district have a role in helping our students grow. So let's go to Danielle Dickey.
Greetings from the nation's capital. My name is Dr. Danielle Dickey, and I'm the founder and chief executive officer of Educational Epiphany, one of America's premier publishing and professional development firms. More importantly, every day, I have the distinct honor of supporting teachers, teacher leaders, principals, and superintendents in their effort to radically improve student achievement in nearly 40 U.S. states. On behalf of your superintendent and senior leadership team, I would like to formally welcome you to the 2020-2021 school year. Now, considering all the things that are happening around the world, I have no doubt that this school year will be characterized by some unique challenges. Likewise, I have no doubt that each of you is ready to face those challenges with a fervent commitment to that which is in the best interest of children and families. It's what we do as teachers. It's what we've always done. I'm persuaded that this gap in service to children from this past spring is no match for your stalwart dedication to ensuring that all students are the recipients of daily instruction of the highest quality. So as we prepare to open our doors, virtually or otherwise, we must do everything humanly possible to ensure that irrespective of race, irrespective of ethnicity, irrespective of socioeconomic status and English proficiency and exceptionality, that we as educators produce schooling experiences for children that are fully worthy of consumption. And how do we do that, Columbus City? We must plan and deliver informed instruction that is informed by the state standards for the core content areas. We must plan and deliver instruction with careful attention to conceptual understanding of both general and content-specific academic language. Children are locked out of new learning when they're locked out of conceptual understanding of academic language. It's a fact. Now, for mathematics specifically, we must incorporate the use of manipulatives in our mathematics instruction so that students not only do math, but they understand mathematical concepts deeply. And they can transfer their knowledge of mathematical concepts to problem-solving situations with ease and with confidence. Now, for English language arts, we must plan and deliver instruction that is informed both by the art and the science of teaching children to read, the art and the science of teaching children to think critically, and the art and the science of teaching children to engage in rich and rigorous evidence-based conversations about complex texts. Why? So that our students can subsequently demonstrate that they've been taught by us, demonstrate that they have acquired new knowledge, new ability through the speaking and writing opportunities that we present to them. Now for social studies. First of all, we must teach social studies explicitly in the elementary grades. And K-12, we must be prepared to plan and deliver instruction on key historical figures, key historical events, and key historical ideas, characterized by careful attention to the primary and the secondary sources that we use to give children insight to eras gone by, as well as opportunities to consider the impact of the past on modern society. Now for science. We must ready ourselves to plan and deliver instruction that is informed by a profound expert-level understanding of the relationship between and among scientific phenomena, cross-cutting concepts, science and engineering practices, and the universal language of literacy. Why? So that we can produce the next generation of American scientists. And last but not least, we must not think of elective courses as electives, rather as applied academic courses, wherein students go to apply that which they have learned in the core academic courses and to ultimately explore their unique and their individual interests. And to our support staff, to teacher assistants and bus drivers and cafeteria workers and office assistants, to custodians and secretaries, and let us not forget professional school counselors. Your contribution to the development, to the safety, and to the well-being of our children does not go unnoticed, and it does not go unappreciated. You help teachers and school leaders every day to develop well-rounded, multidimensional, socially and emotionally mature young people. So thank you for all that you do, oftentimes without recognition and without reward. In closing, allow me to be clear. No one, including myself, can promise you that the next 180 days will be a flowery bed of ease. So remember this, just take one day at a time. Keep at the top of your consciousness why you became an educator in the first place. And support one another. No more us versus them. And above all else, Columbus City, help children. I hope to visit your schools and your classrooms when the world reopens. Everyone, have a great start.
Thank you, Dr. Dickey. He reminds us to take one day at a time. Once again, this year is going to look like no other in the history books. My question, are we ready to rise up as one Columbus City Schools? I believe we are. So at this time, I'd like to take our final caller, the first one to call 614-365-8868 to the Department of Engagement to get your very own Rise Up t-shirt. Now, what I've been telling you about is like this finale. When I saw it for the first time yesterday, I got emotional because this finale really speaks to what we've been through as a district and as a community. Ladies and gentlemen, as we close, I want to thank our superintendent, Dr. Dixon, for having the vision, and thank our Board of Education. But you know what? This was a team effort. So oblige me as I call out our fellow chiefs. All right, Scott Wardman, Chief of Communications, thank you so much for everything you've done. All right, Chief of Accountability, Mayshell Klein, thank you. Dr. Chapman, Transformation and Leadership, in collaboration with Curriculum, is how this 10-day PD came together. Wandana, our Chief IT, Myra Wright in HR, Maurice Soto, Operations, keeping us going. Stan Bahoric, our Treasurer, and ladies and gentlemen, Payroll, right? You can't forget them. And the awesome team of the Department of Engagement. Thank you all for everything you've done. And I'd also like to thank our sign language interpreters for making sure today's message was heard by all. Because today's message about Columbus City Schools rising up is one that we need. And ladies and gentlemen, the wizard behind pulling all these pieces together is Mr. Salon Wise. Let me say that again, Salon Wise. He's our outside technical support, and he helped make this day a reality. So thank you all for getting up and rising up. And this finale, please listen and watch, and you will know what your role is this year as we move forward in Columbus City Schools. Rise up every day, and 1,000 times, no matter how many times we get knocked down, we're going to rise up again. So we're rising up for our students, we're rising up for our families. Ladies and gentlemen, we're rising up for each other. Thank you.
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we're gonna walk it out and move mountains. We're gonna walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And and the silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet and move mountains. We'll take it to its feet. Move